We are live 364 days a year. What are we doing here?
If Dom turns at SummerSlam, I'm shaving my moustache off. I've told you, if that happens, it's going. My lip is cold because of a stupid bet that I made with YouTube.
Oh, good.
Wrestle's better than Daniel Bryan Daniels. Better than Okada.
How do you not get 50 after Monday Night Raw?
What's going on, everyone? It's your boy, Shad Talks Graps, and we are back with the Wrestling Republic off the air post-show to NXT Title Tuesday. And my goodness, man, round of applause for the good people at NXT. They gave us a fire episode. I am super excited to talk about it, but I can't do this by myself. As much as I like to talk a lot, it would not be fair to do this by myself. I got a prestige panel in the house today. First and foremost, man, y'all know him, man. He is a NXT off the air staple, the OG like myself. Big Driz, how are you, bro?
Good morning, afternoon, and evening. It's the guy you should believe. It's your boy Drizzy, the Wrestling Plug. You don't know what to watch. I got you. Happy Black History Month. I dropped to you the first Black women in pro wrestling. Essel Johnson, Babs Wingo, Marva Scott. You don't know who they are? Look them up. They are history.
No doubt about that, man. And yes, definitely Black History Month. Professional wrestling is not professional wrestling without the Black history of professional wrestlers. And like he said, man, get hip, tune into all of the OGs and the legends. And also make sure you tune into the people that are making history as of today that we have in current day pro wrestling. But last but not least, man, I call this like the adopted brother of the NXT off the air family. You know what I'm saying? Since we opened it up a little bit. But y'all have seen him constantly week upon week with us, man. My dog, Davis, how are you doing, Brody?
Happy Tuesday, everyone. What a show. What a show. If y'all don't know what happened, we're about to break it down for y'all. But spoiler alert. Say his name. Say his name.
Say his name and he will appear. That is an absolute fact. And he got an absolute victory over absolute Ricky Starks and a bunch of other people. We had our main event. We're going to go right into it out the gate. Ladder match, 7-man, Dion Lennox, Shiloh Hill, Keanu Carver, Ricky Saints, Jackson Drake, Shawn Legacy, and our new NXT World Champion, Joe HENDRY. Crowning moment for this man. Probably one of the biggest superstars in pro wrestling when it comes to just being a viral sensation. Everyone knows his song. Everyone knows the trope of say his name and he pops out. Everyone loves his music. But tonight, you got to love him for being a champion. And he did the thing, man. First and foremost, let me just say this. Round of applause for all the guys in this match, man. This was a tall task. You had a very wide spread of different talent in it. You had some vets that we're familiar with in the wrestling industry, like a Joe HENDRY and a Ricky Saints. You got some independent guys that are carving a name for themselves, and Shawn Legacy and Jackson Drake. And then you got a lot of the PC kids, man. The Keanu Carvers, the Dion Lennoxes, the Shiloh Hills. These guys went out there and showed their strong suits. And there was an ample amount of guys tonight in defeat looked like winners. You're talking about the spot of Shiloh Hill using the broken ladder as a crutch. You're talking about the pure brute strength of Keanu Carver. You're talking about the athleticism of Shawn Legacy. Like, these guys definitely came out and showed out, and that's what they needed. We're talking about a ongoing topic that, Driz, you and I have had for a minute. Mm-hmm. We worried about the men's division. We worried about the depth and who's going to be next. I can confidently say after the night, all of these guys got next. All of these guys have the opportunity to be a champion, whether it be the NXT or the North American Championship. But regardless, all of these guys need to be on our TV on a weekly basis. Joe HENDRY is the champion, though. Yeah. This is a big moment for him. I got to kick it off for you first, Driz. Obviously, you follow Joe HENDRY a little more extensively because
Yes.
You missed TNA over here.
Yes.
Thoughts on the ladder match, and does it feel good to believe right now? Because I know you believe as well, but he
As
believes.
one guy who gets believed into another, this is a beautiful thing to see somebody who came from TNA, who TNA, Ring of Honor, all those indie promotions at that point in time, make it to being one of the biggest stars in wrestling, and now he is in NXT. He's basically the top. He's the mountain. He is the top of the king of the. I don't want to say it because it ain't a TNA thing, but he is the king of the mountain of NXT right now, and to be that and definitely shut our mouths a little bit because we've been waiting and trying to figure out what they're gonna do with this men's division. This match absolutely solidified the men's division. Just got injected with a whole lot of youth. We were talking about it a little bit. It is just surprising to see so many younger wrestlers be put in a situation like this, in a ladder match like this, and absolutely step up when the lights are the brightest. Sean Legacy, absolutely amazing in the ring. Dude had a good 5 minutes of just him running through everybody. Jackson Drake, I'm going to be 100% honest. I am not an Evolve watcher, but I see why he's the champ. I see why they put the belt on him and not Sean Legacy. Not to say Sean Legacy was bad, but you need strong heels. He is a strong heel who absolutely shined so much tonight. Shiloh heel. It is just so fascinating to see somebody like that who came out of the LFG camp of this, and on the brightest lights, standing tall, having probably some of the most. He probably has the most memorable moments of this match, other than the ending of seeing him walk up. First off, how do you sit there and take a broken ladder and walk it up on stilts? Like, there are so many great things about this match. Don't be surprised if you see this match up for a match of the year. And when we get into December and everything, because this was a really good match. We have a new champion. We believe in Joe Hendry. The men's division is just fine, and I'm not saying it as Cody fine. I'm saying it as it is fine. We have a men's division now. Thank you, Jesus.
I totally agree with you on that, bro. I think it's just reassuring to see that we got this. And obviously, yeah, this is a beautiful callback. Yeah, it is the Kofi Kingston spot, right? But it's a little different when you see a man of his size doing it, right?
Yeah.
This is a borderline, like, what, 6'5", 6'6",
6'5",
6'7",
running with, and Kofi, he did it, but Shiloh did it like he was walking with them, like he's done this before.
He looked like he looked like he's in a circus, right?
Like he been doing like God is Tuesday. Every Tuesday I walk with these. Like seriously.
And also then obviously the spot where he was had the ladder over his head and hitting every person from every direction and stuff like that. Like, to me, they did a good job allowing it to be told that Shiloh Hill is kind of like this crazy, deranged character, and he's gonna do by any means anything to try to get a victory. I feel like it followed his strong suits. And man, like, honestly, like, everybody really just went out there and put their best effort. Dion Lennox too, man. I mean, you're talking to a guy like he was taking some gnarly bumps.
Keanu Carver.
Keanu Carver, he's different. Yeah. He's just different. He's built so different, bro. Like, that last spurt when he got out from when they stacked him on the ladders and he was just going absolute, ape shit, tackling people. And like you mentioned, that spot where Ricky pushes him back and just his back folds like a lawn chair, man. A dude his size. I mean, that takes a lot, man. These are like, I mean, Davis, these are guys that aren't new to this. Like, I mean, they are new to this. They don't do these type of matches. I want to ask you though, man, what were your thoughts on the match overall? And you was pretty excited about Joe Hendry. How do you feel that he is already NXT champion relatively as a new? Obviously, we've seen him in NXT over for a while, but being new into the NXT as a rostered wrestler, how do you feel that he's a champ now?
So when we talk about this match, we have to talk about the show. And when we talk about the show, we have to look at what NXT was up against. Over the last month or so, NXT has lost their world champion, Obafemi, Trick Williams, Javon Evans bounced to Monday Night Raw. And most recently, they lost their general manager. This show, in my opinion, was the most important NXT show probably in the last 5-6 years at the very, very least. And I could probably go back a little further. They took such a big hit and they could not miss here. And you relied on stars that were very unproven. We love Joe Hendry. I love Joe Hendry. If you go look on my TikTok, it's actually my most watched video of me reacting to Joe Hendry coming out during the Royal Rumble. I spilled my water everywhere. It was great. Second most watched video is Joe Hendry coming out at WrestleMania. So, yeah, I love me some Joe Hendry, but this is more about Shiloh Hills. It's just every star in here was in a very the most veteran main event star here was Ricky Saints. And yeah, I don't even think he was outshined by half the match. If we look at it, this was the most important match on the most important show. This setup, if this match fails, this men's roster is in disarray. You might entertain bringing a Royce Keys down there to kind of, fix shit there. They mission accomplished. Mission accomplished. All these men, congrats. You are now the next 2 to 3 years of this NXT roster. I just talked about tickets with Stand and Deliver, and I was seriously scared to commit because I don't know what you can build here. You got easily a Joe Hendry, Ricky Saints match. Carver, you got to feature him. Shiloh Hill, it's criminal not to feature him. And I am so happy they were able to pull this off because as somebody who's watched NXT from its younger days to the first ever pay-per-view or PLE, whatever you want to call it on the WWE network, to now to just see it evolve the way it is, no pun intended with evolve. But this was amazing. I am so glad that they pulled this off. It's almost like that breath of fresh air to where it was that first WrestleMania. And I hate to use that kind of like comparison because that's a big comparison, but that's the only thing I could compare it to. You needed WrestleMania to work for future events. You needed this NXT show to work for future NXT shows for the crowd to take it seriously. You lost too many stars. Now you just made so many stars. You're good. You're completely good now.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's time to have also a conversation about Evolve and why it's necessary to that point too, because I feel like it's really been a good developmental pipeline for NXT. Obviously, we view NXT as the developmental brand in retrospective to a Raw and SmackDown, but at the end of the day, they're a television program. They're on a weekly network with CW, and they're gonna have to garner viewership, and you need to have people TV ready made. With Evolve, they've shown to be a good developmental brand to get people ready for this. And I think a lot of it is just the in-ring acumen too. Like you talk about Kendall Gray, right? Instantly is one of the biggest stars in the women's division. Sean Legacy, this guy is going to be a major play in that men's division. Jackson Drake, like these are all guys that are guys and girls that are getting good reps on Evolve, and I watch Evolve here and there, right? It allows you to like make the mistakes, but it's not gonna hurt you, right? No one's like putting you under the microscope of Evolve and the viewerships and whatever it may be. It ain't gonna hurt them too much, but like it's doing its job for building these people up to that next level. Obviously, when Callie Armstrong goes there, like there's a ton of people, man. And I think that's where you're seeing the and I think that's a big reason why people aren't as green. Keanu Carver was from there too. Like that's why they aren't gonna sink. There's a less of a chance of them sinking once they have that a little bit of experience to go in as well. So I mean, DCX Warlord said Ethan Page must be fuming. I think Ethan Page is happy to be.
He's absolute. I'm sure Ethan Page is ecstatic because before this match, we just had Ricky, Hendry, and Ethan to bang on. Now you have so much more to now. Ethan can probably breathe a little bit more now because he doesn't have to be on every single segment. He doesn't have to be on every single show now, so he don't have to worry. He can go do AAA his mixed tags with Chelsea and everything's good. Keanu, even the Vanity Project, like the tag division, the Vanity Project being added to the tag division helps out tremendously. Like it helps. Like these things do help a whole lot. So
yeah, and you got this new legacy that they're making.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. That's what it looks like.
It's what it
it's
is.
Like it's time that the men's division caught up to where the women have been for a while now. And I think that's it. Said the women had so much time to build at the top, and it gave the women below so much time to work, even to a point where now the Evolve girls, they're ready to come up. It's just a matter of time before you start seeing Layla Diggs and Callie and even Nikita, who was down in NXT, is back on NXT TV now. So
no doubt. And I gotta say this, man, before we get to the next topic in regards to Joe Hendry. This is WWE thinking smart, in my opinion, though, because Joe Hendry is such a novelty. He's such a guy that can be played whatever. Like he could have easily went to Raw or SmackDown and not have any issues, but they also pay attention to the fact that we kind of need him to like at least give us a little bit of a boost in NXT for the time being, and it's well deserved, man. Like say what you want to say about the guy, he put a lot of best just full on effort to make him the star he is today, man. He's a very creative guy. And I think this is a huge accomplishment for him. I'm super excited to see what comes upon with this title reign and what matches we can culminate as well. And then, man, this is like, we're in a new era of NXT, hey man, this is a new era of NXT, man. So I'm excited for
what we do.
That's what we do.
It's the beginning of a new era. It's another era of a new era.
Up in the sky, man. We got the homie Bobby. We got Mary in the building. What's going on with y'all? Let's get to the next. Let's start with the rest of the card, though, man. Let's talk about the opening match tonight because like I mentioned, Title Tuesday, we had a North American women's triple threat match. Our fake champion, Izzy Lame herself versus Thea Hale, and Lola Vice. This is a good match. I thought these three women definitely came out and showed why they are, focal points in the women's division. Obviously, Lola Vice is just, my God, man. Talk about a success story from coming into the world of mixed martial arts, being a big-time star in Bellator, and then completely dropping it off and coming into the WWE and really shining. Like, I know a lot of the success stories go to, like, Brock from UFC, Ronda coming in, right? Shayna Baszler. But, like, Lola Vice is definitely a person that's in that conversation with them. And she's so different. Like, she's a beautiful young lady. She's not rough and rugged like them, but she still will whoop your tail like them, right? And I think she looked great tonight. I thought Thea looked great tonight. Obviously, Kalani Jordan came in and allegedly broke her hand. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But Izzy Dame retains. She is still the champion. I think we're going to see her versus the GOAT soon. Miss Tatum Tuesdays. I was sad not to see my girl here tonight, but it is what it is. But what are y'all thoughts, man? Davis, I want to get your thoughts, man. How do you feel about the match? And what do you think is the next step for some of these ladies, man. Like obviously we got Izzy as the champ, but what do you kind of see what's in the pipeline for Thea Hill specifically after this match too?
So first off, hats off to all three and even four ladies. Kalani's hit was the most insane hit I think I've seen all week. When you look at the three women, Lola Vice right here, she needs to move up. Nothing to do with Lola Vice. I said it a few weeks ago on the show though. Similar to Jordan Grace, she was like stuck in this rut. I don't think she wins the championship. I don't think she wins this championship for a while. I think what you said is very spot on with it's the inevitable, right? Dame versus I guess your goat, whatever she is. And I think that's your stand and deliver match. I think that's your big money match at stand and deliver at 10 a.m. in the morning. So which is a great time. If anybody's in Vegas, I highly advise checking out stand and deliver. You look at so that occupies Dame. Hale's in this weird situation because now she's in that occupying stage, and you got to go back and look at what was she supposed to win that match, and you have to look at is she only here because of that botch? It's a weird situation. I think very similar. If I had to guess where she ends up, I think she entertains this title frame for another 2 months until the inevitable stand and deliver match. Or if you want to get the most on the card, you just put all the women's in a ladder match, stand and deliver. But my inevitable pick is a one-on-one match and stand and deliver. But yeah, you can see Hale challenge for the title a few more times and then fall to it. Obviously, like you said, Shad, it's inevitable where this was going to go. But overall, great match. I enjoyed it. Second match, best match on the card, in my opinion.
No doubt. And by the way, it's everyone's GOAT. It's just the GOAT. Tatum Paxley is the greatest of all time. This isn't anything up for debate. I mean, I feel like the sun shines every day because Tatum Paxley's existence is.
So is that the reason why it's snowing today? Because Tatum wasn't on the show?
Exactly. Yeah, she ain't blessed. I'm pissed that she wasn't in the Royal Rumble. Like
I am too, but then I gotta keep on reminding myself it's Saudi Arabia, and she can't be in Saudi and in NXT at the same time. So,
truth be told, man, like she should have been at the Royal Rumble wrestling Drew McIntyre and winning that title in front of the Saudi crowd. Like that's how I view stuff. But I digress. And of course, we got the fellow Tatum Paxley Truther in the building, DCX Warlord saying preach.
Shout out to Lola for the flight though. That's best case. She had to leave Sunday. I know a couple of people that went there and they just got back today or yesterday, last night. So they view me and Drizzy were talking about too. And that's that kind of I want you to touch on that a little bit too, Driz, because we talked about that specifically about the people that were involved in the Royal Rumble. Lola Vice, Kalani Jordan, both were part of this match. Is time ticking on these ladies, man?
They not gonna be here for long. Do not expect to see them there too long. I don't know what it is, but it's like they got this post-Rumble glow. Like Lola and Kalani were in the Rumble, and they just like, y'all don't belong here no more. Y'all need to be in bigger arenas. We need to be seeing you on the big screens. We need to be seeing you on Raw and SmackDown. I need to see Kalani Jordan standing across from Jade Cargill. I need to see Lola Vice standing across from Rhea Ripley. Like they just have this big star feel to them now, and it's the women. I don't know what it is, but it's just something about them. They went there, they shined so bright. And it's Saudi Arabia. Of more so. So they're just first off, they got so many big pops over there. So that just tells me that it was never they didn't want women over there. They got women over there and instantly, yay, everything. Lola is not going to be there. So I didn't expect her to win this match. I can't see them putting that belt on her right now, and she end up going to Raw or SmackDown with it. they are grooming Izzy to be your top heel. So when JC Jane, another one who has that post Rumble glow, head up to the main roster, they already have their next big star who's ready to go. That's the purpose of those workhorse titles, like the North American titles for the men and women, like IC, US, is to sit there and get these reps and getting used to being the champion. Izzy Dame is easy to hate. She makes it so easy. Even with her Tyson she had on today. In fact, I know where I seen them from. Her and Tatum have a matching set. They were from their tag team matches. But Izzy is doing all the things she needs to be the next to move up in this hierarchy of the women's division. So she's definitely going to be in the main event scene pretty soon. Thea Hale, the wrestling is there. Everything between from bell to bell makes sense for her. It all fits. It all works. It's when we start doing the character work that it just kind of loses me a bit. But wrestling wise, she's ready for the main roster. They just got to get these few little and it was like that with Tatum for a little bit. They had a few little tweaks, but once they tweaked it, off to the races for Tatum. It's like we're still getting like, why is she still there at this point? And that's kind of what it is for Thea. There's a few little tweaks, and the moment they make those tweaks, we're gonna be asking the same question, like, why is she still there?
Nah, no doubt. It's gonna be something to pay attention to as we go on through the year, as call-ups continue to happen post Mania, like you mentioned. But it's telling because, like Lola Vice, for instance, she's everywhere, right? They got her in the Rumble with the main roster people. They also have her listed with on AAA and stuff like that. And I mean, it's gonna be something special, man. So I'm excited to see what goes on with it. Let's talk about the next topic, though. Let's talk about Tony D'Angelo.
No more of this. No more of this.
The former mob boss himself. He cut a promo tonight, man. A very passionate promo. Basically telling him he's remembering who he is, what his intentions are going forward. And you're starting to see basically the new character arc that is developing within him. I like this promo a lot. I thought he was talking with a lot of passion. I thought you finally got a more serious side to him. Not, I won't say not serious, but serious side to him, but not as gimmicky. And look, man, we talked about the men's division before. You also got to throw him into the conversation now too. Like this new iteration of him, to me, it feels like you're gonna get to see him kind of go through the progressions here, and you instantly got to put him in the main event scene. When you think about it, right? Like this is a guy who can't be left alone for that top spot. He's got his eyes set for Dark State though, and I'm curious to see how we go upon this because Dark State is many, and he at the moment is one. He doesn't have a family. He's mentioned that too. He's done with the family. This is going to be something to really pay attention to and kind of see what comes within it. But I want to know y'all guys' thoughts, man. What did you think of the promo, Davis? Are you excited for this new Tony D'Angelo?
I'm gonna cut NXT some slack here. If you look at just everything that transpired over the past month and a half, 2 months, I think it was the week before me and you went to DC, Shad, and I look at everything and just the promo didn't make sense what was going on unless it is strictly for the NXT championship. That's why I will cut a little slack. I feel like Ava would have added a little more to this. I feel like that the story behind the Ava, the whole thing, I feel like there was a little more to that. Unfortunately, we're not going to see it play out. It's the nature of the business. It's how things work. But part of me thinks there's a different version of the family coming back. That's a little part of me, not a long-term thing, not a long-term, kind of like how the bloodline was to where they got back together. They're the common enemy. I feel like there may be a little payoff there. I remember the word jobber used for a certain family member a couple weeks ago, a month ago. So maybe they bring him back into the fold in some way, shape, or form. I don't think Tony goes alone here, unless he just attacks them one by one and just singles them out, and then ends with the NXT Championship in his future. But yeah, it was just a little confusing, which is how like kind of thinking about everything that happened, and then he directed like, "Hey, this is what I'm gonna do," and I was like, "Okay, like what were you doing this whole time?" So it's just a little confusing. I guess so. Like the story will unfold down the road, but yeah, I'm definitely curious to see what happens.
Yeah, no doubt, and I definitely feel you on that. I think there is a bit of that's on the writing. I feel like they could have kind of tied it to Robert Stone now that he's obviously the new manager of NXT. But they didn't kind of correlate the lines as much. But it is so. This is a great comment right here, by the way. I want to show it from Anthony Mazzano. Good to see you also, bro. Am I off by saying this guy's? I feel like Tony D'Angelo is being built like a vigilante Sting with him being able to talk. I think this is first of many promos. Driz, that's literally what we said, right?
I did say that, yes.
When we were watching this, we were literally saying that. So, and
this generation Sting.
So funny. Hitman reference. He said he's becoming Agent 47. That is hilarious. But it does feel a little bit like that. It seems like he's kind of a lost cause with you don't know what's gonna happen. And sometimes the scariest person is someone that has nothing to lose. Driz, do you think that's kind of what we're leaning towards? Is somebody that has like nothing to lose and he's about to just cause major ruckus within the NXT division?
I truly feel like that's exactly what he's going to be. And he's going to sit, and I agree 100% with Anthony Mazzano. He's this generation Sting for NXT on a smaller scale. Yes, Dark State has caused all types of chaos and hell, if you would call it that, upon TNA and NXT. But he can single-handedly take them out. And it's also might be another good way to bolster that men's division that we were just talking about earlier. Like this is like it feels like these last few weeks have done so much for that. And Tony D being the vigilante after Dark State, who Dark State very well I wouldn't be surprised to see Dion Lennox get the NXT title eventually at some point. And that's where Tony strikes. Or even if Tony wants to make it his life mission to make sure that Dion or nobody from Dark State wins any gold. Like he has we have a chance to tell a really fun story for a period of time. Even at Stand and Deliver, Dion Lennox and Tony D, maybe. Who knows? But I do enjoy how they went so many weeks without him talking. He moved very Sting-like. It's almost like he took a page out of the book. Like he been watching the Netflix's old Nitro, where you see Sting standing in the crowd, or if you see Sting hiding in the rafters, just watching everything, and just doing random stuff, sending the ripped up papers, the Ava, like that's all very Sting-esque. So I enjoyed the poetry in all this.
Yeah, and honestly, I do too. I like characters like this that are dark and eerie and that don't give you, they just speak in a bunch of riddles and stuff like that.
Oh, the weight of my heart is a man that is a promo where you say everything and absolutely nothing at the same time. The Ravens, the old Dean Ambrose, John Moxley promos. He is the king of, I'll say the Bray Wyatts. Oh my God. Bray Wyatt had me in the palm of his hand. It said absolutely nothing.
Yeah, no, for sure. And then it's also another thing where it's like it gives him leeway to kind of really just reinvent himself and kind of restart the process in NXT. Where like I don't think there's a timetable on when Tony D'Angelo needs to get called up or whatnot. I think they kind of see themselves like, all right, it may have not worked on the main roster with the mob gimmick. It may have, who knows? But they're going in this direction, and it's gonna be cool to see, man. And I think this is what kind of makes NXT in this current day exciting and fun because there's so much new like coming in from there, and you kind of get to like it's like watching a new series, right? Like you're basically getting to know all these new characters, creating new favorites, whatever it may be. So we'll be paying close attention to Mr. Tony D'Angelo. But let's get to the last topic. It's a twofold because we're gonna talk about a TNA Knockouts tag team match, and then we're gonna also talk about the bit of I want to say of the friction that we're seeing from these two ladies in Zaruka. But we had the Elegance brand versus Zaruka tonight for the Knockouts title. Obviously, I gotta be real with y'all, man. I am a big Elegance brand fan. I'm the same person that called her trash by negligence, and I am giving myself a year and some change later, and I like the act a lot. I really like that tag team. I think M by Elegance and what is it, Heather
by Elegance.
by Elegance. These two ladies have such a good synergy as a team. I love one is like 4 foot tall and the other is like 9'7". Like one is just completely short and the other is a massive giant. But I thought they looked really good, man. And there are two women that look, man. TNA, you better protect them. If they get in that free agent pool, don't be surprised if Sean come out and reel them into NXT because they could definitely fit an NXT show like it's nothing, right? They got the look and they're able to do the character aspect, but they got to win. Obviously, this is to be said with a little bit of this friction that's happening between these two ladies. Zarya is upset because Sol Ruka is pretty much getting all the opportunities and she feels like she's not. Later on in the show, we had our NXT Women's Champion, Miss JC Jane, coming out mad because Sol basically eliminated her on Saturday. And Kendall Gray, the GOAT, comes out and there's this whole banter with the title. And Zarya really wants this match with JC Jane, but she feels like here comes Sol Ruka right behind me, basically saying, "Oh, I want to go for it too." And now there's a match next week set with all the tag teams, but the winner who gets the pinfall gets the title match. Wow. When are we going to get this split? Because I am going to be honest with you, Zarya could benefit doing single stuff in the NXT women's division, and Sol could benefit going to the main roster, and we could benefit them breaking up. But do we potentially see value in them as a tag team because they work well together on the main roster? So I'm going to ask y'all this. First and foremost, thoughts on the match, and then also, what do you think this whole direction is going to be with Zaruka going in? Because it's going to be interesting, and I feel confident that it may not be Sol winning this one, but like we're talking about stand and deliver. I think JC Jane versus Sol Ruka got to be the match for it. But Driz, obviously, break it all down for me first, man.
First off, we got to talk about the most in this entire NXT NXTNA brand. The most over crossover act at the moment is the Elegance brand. They have won major titles on NXT and TNA and are yet to lose their belts on NXT or TNA. So that is a huge congratulations to them. It's just another day in the office for the Elegance brand. Nothing new here. They're winning. They're doing everything they need to be great. Zaruka. I am so ready for this split. It has been going on for so long, and it's such a callback to the Kane X-Pac storyline of the past, and they are doing everything in their power to try and draw it out as much as they can, but they still got to make it like a whole nother month. I'm not sure. Like tonight, realistically should have been Zarya attacking Sol. I don't know if there's a way to make it happen any better, but tonight would have been the one after the accidental soul snatcher. And now they have this tag match winner who gets the pinfall, gets the women's title match. I don't like it. I don't, at this point, we might as well just put them in a fatal 4-way. But if you pay attention, there's a little bit of this also happening in the Ren QCC. Kendall Gray has had her mind wrapped about that, how close she was to winning the NXT Women's title, that she kind of is becoming a little. The surprise heel turn might not be too far out of the works for her. She is fixated on being a double champion and very well could. And the same for Ren Sinclair. She wants it, but she more so just wants it because she wants the opportunity. Kendall's intensely on it. So we might see the Ren QCC break up before we see Zaruka. And this Zaruka being at Stand and Deliver is probably the match that we'll see. And even if we were to make that for the NXT Women's title, even better. But we got some interesting things brewing in that women's division. I've always been a fan and just admire how the women's division able to create different storylines without the same old all the time. They have new spins on stuff that just keep them fresh and like a breath of fresh air.
And I think those are fantastic points, man. Like, it is one of those things where, like, there's so many moving pieces within so many different storylines. I mean, even with like Fatal Influence, when will potentially Fallon turn, or when will Laney turn? You know, like, there's so much like divisive, like just there's like a lot of tension between these ladies beyond closed doors, and I do like that within it. But man, talk about a match right here in the comments. Heather versus Laney Reed. My God. Good God. Give me that match for sure, too. I love that. I love that a lot. And also, he noted that Zarya is going to hit Soul with the big cash special. Zarya is definitely someone who is someone that was picked up in the same free agent wave as Stephanie Vaquer and Julia, right? I remember it was the big three. There was a lot of excitement for it. Fast forward now, Julia is on the main roster, our United States champion. Stephanie Vaquer is our world champion on Raw, potentially going to have a match with Liv Morgan at Mania. And then you got Zarya. And Davis, I kind of want to ask you this, man. What are we going to get out of her? Like, because I get it. She may have not be in the same ballpark as those two, renowned from what they did internationally, what they did in promotions like New Japan, Stardom. Obviously, Vaquer wrestled Mercedes, my CEO, in AEW. But Zarya, to me, was also supposed to be a big get. Have you really seen anything like notable or progression for her as an individual star? Because I know she's doing the tag stuff, but like, when are we going to kind of, put a little bit of a push for her?
So yeah, I thought about this while y'all were both talking, and first and foremost, shout outs to the Elegance brand. I said it a couple weeks ago on this show. The best case scenario for the Elegance brand to defend their titles was on TNA. It would have done the most. However, being on NXT, you have now signed your deal with NXT, so we will be seeing them shortly. With Zarya and Soruka, Zarya specifically has taken a very big step back. Let's call it for what it is. That was, in my opinion, my odds-on favorite last year at Stand and Deliver to win the North American Championship. It didn't happen. Soul ended up taking it. And from what we see here, there's just a lot to unpack here. So this turn needs to happen quick. Sean, if you're listening, please don't listen to Paul Levesque, Triple H. Like, make the turn happen next week. With this, it leads me into my next topic, is the stand and deliver, because I think we are on the road to stand and deliver. I am excited for it. I feel like this stand and deliver may be the greatest one of all time. We are going to run it back with the Fatal 4-Way with Kendall Gray, Sol Ruka, a heel Zarya, and the greatest NXT women's champion of all time. Better than Roxanne, better than Asuka, JC Jane, with Zarya coming out on top. I think Sol Ruka is bound for the main roster. I think her and JC Jane are just a foregone conclusion. Kendall Gray obviously is going to be a staple there with Ren and that whole stacked women's roster, but that is your match, and Zarya will be your new NXT women's champion.
Greatest women's NXT champion.
That's a big list to be.
When you look at it, gentlemen, you look at your women's champion, Tatum Paxley. I am sorry, Shad, the title reign wasn't there. The title reign wasn't there.
They didn't give her a chance. They
didn't. But JC Jane took it from Stephanie Valkyrie, which is, in my opinion, is the most overrated NXT women's champion of all time, along with Julia. Roxanne, she had it for 2 months, y'all. Lyra Valkyria, Becky Lynch, Tiffany Stratton, Indy, Roxanne. I think you really have only a couple conversations with greatest women.
I think
the conversation said she's better than Asuka. So
okay, hold on. The conversation is okay. A lot of the people you named had short reigns. Tiffany had a pretty good reign, but JC probably has more longevity towards it. Asuka's reign was freaking special.
The management took the belt from Asuka.
Like she was over Femi for a women's division, bro. Like
people doubted JC Jane when JC Jane won this women's championship. It shocked everybody. It shocked. I was in the chat, in the Russell Republic fan chat. I remember everybody saying. I remember some people saying bad call, bad. It wasn't obviously. Is it bad? This is the biggest turn.
We also Shayna, bro.
Ooh, this sounds like a grappling episode.
We might need to make this a grappling for position top 10 NXT
women's champions.
Women's champions. We might have to do that. We might have to run that back. It might have to be an off the air panel too. We might have to phone in Clark. And we might need to get all 5 of us on it.
Better than Rhea or March. Better than Ember Moon. JC Jane is better than Asuka.
Better than Asuka as a champion or as a talent?
As a champion, a talent. No, Asuka.
I was like, all right, bro.
Hold on. This has been water. Okay.
But to say we got Ben might have to start.
Start getting these drug tests after this stuff.
We get on them 5.
I'm gonna get one of the NFL drug tests.
Yep. They say you're gonna get one of those. Ben Davis has been suspended 60 days.
Here's the thing. I'm pretty high on JC Jane as myself. Last year, I thought she was probably arguably the strongest women's, like for most of the year, she was leaning towards WWE Women of the Year.
Hands down, should have won. Like to me, hands down, should have won Superstar of the Year.
Yeah,
Becky and Mercedes don't exist. It's JC Jane, and it's not even close. I think
Mercedes clears her, bro. Come on.
No, I said if Becky and Mercedes didn't exist, then it would be But like Becky and Mercedes.
For WWE, I think you can make a strong case that she was probably the most
consistent
woman on the company. Like, because you talk about EO probably had the best matches, but let's not forget Triple H likes to do some dumb stuff when you're champion his title. They just don't wrestle anymore. Like, they just completely, you don't have him on TV. Like, that's what he likes to do. He's did it with Jade. He's doing it with Valkyrie. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that's his MO. That's why the main roster, gotta be careful going there, guys. But I do think that of all the reigns, it's a conversation. I'm not mad at it. I won't say you're right, but I won't say you're wrong because it's something that you can definitely set yourself like. It's a hot take, but it's not like scorching hot where I'm looking at you like you think like the world is flat or anything like that, you know? Like it's but hey man, I will say this though, to your point. There needs to be a sense of respect for her because she does play her role really well. I know a lot of people say she's overrated, whatever it may be. But to me, she's like, it's kind of like Ethan Page, right? What do you ask for a heel champion to be? What she does, she generates heat, she cheats, she talks shit on the mic, this, that, and the third. She does what you need a heel champion to do, and she does it well. Will she be a world champion on the main roster? I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe she will. But regardless, she'll be employed for the rest of her career because she's gonna etch herself a role for the company because she does what she does good at. So, and the craziest thing is this: like, she was the third fiddle to people in Toxic Attraction.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of
And
people don't know that she was in there. A lot of people
yeah,
forget that.
and she's
Yeah.
the lone soldier standing tall with a new team that's better. I'll be real with you. Like, I like Priscilla Kelly. Priscilla Kelly is not better than Fallon Henley or Lainey Reed right now. Like, no disrespect. Mandy Rose was cool. Mandy Rose had a good NXT title reign too.
Mandy Rose, if we talk about that list, Mandy Rose is gonna be on that list.
She gonna be on that list. She's in that same ballpark. But let's see, man. But hey, man, this was a fun episode. This is a good conversation to close it out. Got a couple comments. Paige over JC. Ooh.
Paige is another one. The company took the belt from Paige, not a wrestler.
And then he said, I'm high on JC, but she's not the greatest champion. She might be top 15, but not top.
I don't know, man. She's made a case for 10.
You put her in the top.
She's made a case for 10. She's definitely made a case for 10.
Yeah, she's in the top 7 women's reigns for sure.
Y'all gonna have to get the hate out of it. JC has shut us up. She has arguably should have been NXT Superstar of the Year last year.
He said the most overrated is Mandy Rose. Hey man, I thought Mandy Rose played her role well enough. You weren't getting no banger matches out of her, but she had a strong character, and that really reinvented her as a talent. To be honest with you, because she was like, I'm sorry, the stuff with Otis and all of that was just stupid,
absolutely ridiculous.
But they let her go on to NXT, and they really let her reinvent herself. So, but yeah, man. That is all the time we have for the night, man. Davis Drizzy, it is always a pleasure. Make sure y'all tune in next week. We'll be back with Off the Air tomorrow, daily, rest of the week, daily. Check all the shows that we have on the docket. We got a new episode of Grappling for Positions coming in as well, with all of us on it as well, talking about the Royal Rumble. So make sure you follow the second channel and like, comment, subscribe. We'll catch y'all next week, man. Y'all have a blessed night.